Welcome to the Finding Your Best Life podcast, a place for the moments in between. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I think I'm finally figuring it out. I'm Megan Lai, personal development coach, mom, and the big sister you didn't know you needed. I've been through the breakdowns, the identity crises, the what now moments, and I'm here to help you make sense of your own. No pressure, no perfect answers, just real talk, reflection, and reminders that you're not alone in this. Each week, I'll answer real questions from people like you. Big questions about identity, confidence, purpose, burnout, boundaries, and building the life you actually want. So if you're in a season of questions, transition, or starting over, this is for you. You don't have to figure it all out today. Just press play, and let's take it one honest conversation at a time. Grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's get into today's letter. Dear Meg, I just graduated a few weeks ago, and I thought I'd feel excited. But instead, I feel completely overwhelmed. Suddenly, I'm expected to figure everything out, where I'm going to live, how I'm going to afford a car, how to budget, how to even begin adulting. I'm researching apartments, trying to understand credit scores, making endless to-do lists, and honestly, I feel frozen. Every decision feels too big, too permanent, and way too much. For most of my life, someone else was there to guide me. Parents, teachers, advisors. There was always a syllabus, a next step, a right answer, but now it's just me, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm scared of making the wrong choices, I'm scared of messing this all up, and I keep asking myself, how do people do this? I want to feel confident, I want to trust myself, but right now I feel lost and exhausted, and I haven't even really started yet. How do I take the first step when everything feels urgent and unknown? Sincerely, trying to figure it all out. Let me start by saying you are not alone. It is completely normal to have this sense of, I need to have my entire life figured out. I'm graduated from college, or maybe you've finished high school and you're not going to go to college. Maybe you took a gap year. Maybe wherever you are in your life, it is perfectly normal to feel overwhelmed. It is perfectly normal to not have it all figured out. It is perfectly normal to sit there and say, I have no idea what's next. You are not alone. If you have just graduated college, that is a huge accomplishment. That is something you should be incredibly proud of. And I'm willing to bet you haven't taken the time to celebrate that. I'm willing to bet you haven't gone out to dinner or bought yourself that something that you've been really wanting, or just taken 5 minutes to say, I did that. So I want you to take a moment and just celebrate. That can be jumping up and down. That can be screaming. You can have a dance party. You can call a friend. You can book the trip. You can do whatever it is that's going to celebrate you. But take a moment and either write down what you're going to do or go do it. Celebrate that huge accomplishment that you just achieved. And I don't say that lightly. Go celebrate yourself. So often we don't take the time to celebrate. And you can celebrate the big moments, but celebrate the small moments. Celebrate, you just got an A on a paper. You handed in a huge project. You applied for that job. Celebrate the small wins, celebrate the big ones. Now that you've had your celebration, and I'm going to trust that you either did it or you're going to do it, either way, comment it down below. Share your big or small moment that you celebrated, and let us all cheer you on. Now that you've done that, let's dive into the bigger situation that's happening here. The unknown. I understand what it's like to be afraid of the unknown. I've been there. And in today's episode, we're really going to tackle the root of what's going on. I'll give you some tangible tips, some tangible resources to actually propel you forward, and how to handle this in any situation. Because even if you're not experiencing this as a recent college graduate, you will experience this at some point throughout your life. And I want you to be equipped to handle that. I want you to be equipped to say, yeah, I have no idea what comes next, but guess what? I have the tools to get me where I want to go. So let's dive into today's episode. First thing I want to say is you do not need to have it all figured out. If you are in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, I don't care what age you are, you don't need to have it all figured out. And I understand you feel like you do. And I understand what it's like to hear someone say, you don't need to have it all figured out. I've been there. I've heard it. And I've rolled my eyes. Trust me when I tell you, it is perfectly okay to not have it all figured out. It is perfectly okay to say, I have no idea what comes next. I didn't necessarily have this experience when I first graduated college. When I first graduated college, I had a plan and I executed that plan. If you've heard my story, you know it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And this is why I say you don't need to have it all figured out, because you will. You will figure it out. Even if you go in saying, this is my plan, I'm executing my plan, I got to my plan, you may get there and say, I don't really want this. This isn't fulfilling me. This isn't making me happy. And it's perfectly okay to pivot. I didn't have that experience in college. I did have that experience about a year ago when I became a mom. We had a very complicated fertility pregnancy journey. Our daughter was born 2 months early. And a year before that, I had quit my 9-to-5. I had lost that stability, that financial consistency. And I was kind of jumping into a lot of unknowns. I started my own business. Was that going to be successful? Was I going to find clients? Was I going to make money? I was jumping into being a new mom and handling my daughter being in the NICU for almost a month. And how do I become a good mom? How do I maintain being a good wife and take care of our 2 dogs and be a friend? And I have a very large family that I'm incredibly close with. And how do I balance it all? And it all was extremely overwhelming. Was it normal for my daughter to wake up 300 times a night? And was it normal? When did she need to get more milk? And am I being a good partner? How many date nights is okay? How do I balance being a good friend and being at events? And there was so much happening at the time, and so much stress and so much overwhelm and so much unknown. And I truly was struggling to balance it all. And one of the things that I kept hearing was one thing at a time. And I have always been someone who made a decision and I've taken action and I've tackled the whole project. I am not someone who does one thing at a time or takes a small bite out of something. I want the whole thing done and I want it done now. But in that stage of my life, it just wasn't realistic. It wasn't something that I could maintain. And if I was doing it, I wasn't doing it for long because I had a husband and 2 dogs and a daughter and a business. I was only able to take those small chunks. I have to work in pockets of time. I had to work when I had coverage for our daughter. And so I really started to learn the value in one thing at a time. To this day, I still struggle with how do I balance it all? How do I avoid the overwhelm? How do I not get stressed out about all of these things? And it truly comes down to one thing at a time. And so once you understand these steps, you can really apply it to any stage of life you're at, whether you've recently graduated, whether you're in a career and you are climbing that corporate ladder or building your business, or you're a new mom, or you've moved across the country. If you are currently experiencing stress, overwhelm, and fear of the unknown, the process is the same no matter what you're going through. And I'm going to give you some tangible things that you can do, but you need to make it your own. What worked best for me may not work best for you, and that is perfectly okay. That is perfectly normal. What I will tell you is if you follow these couple things that I'm going to give you, you'll gain that momentum and it'll get you closer to where you want to be. Let's apply this in the framework of our friend here who is recently graduated, who is trying to figure out their life, housing, car, career, themselves, and really use it in that application. I'll also kind of tailor it in a way so you can see other applications and how you can apply it to your situation. First things first, let's break it down. So first thing that was mentioned in the letter was housing and car. Well, instead of focusing on how am I going to find an apartment, how am I going to find a place to live, what am I going to do, let's start by thinking about where do you want to be? What city do you want to be in? What area do you want to be in? Do you want to be in the United States? Do you want to move outside of the country? Do you want to stay close to your hometown? Do you want to move across the country and experience something new? Where do you want to be? Use that same application with the car. Instead of focusing on, I have to get a car, well, what kind of car do you want? Have you gone to different dealerships? Have you looked at different cars? Maybe your mindset is that your parents have always driven a Subaru, so you want a Subaru. Well, have you ever experienced a Toyota? Have you ever gone to a Honda dealership? Have you ever looked at an Audi? Look at the cars that you're interested in. You don't always have to follow what your parents have done or what your friends are doing. What do you like? Then we can take it to the next level and look at, okay, well, these are the kind of cars that I'm interested in. I want an SUV, I want a car, I want an apartment, I want a condo, I want a house. What are the things that you want? Where do you kind of want to be? And then we can get there. But first, start in that broad sense. The next big area was finances. So do you have an idea of what's coming into your bank account every month and what's going out? Do you have a savings set up? Do you have a 401k? Do you have investments? And I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but this is more so, where are you at right now? Where do you want to go? Think big picture. We can break it down and start taking steps towards it, but you need to know where you're at and where you want to go. So in regards to finances, think broad spectrum here. What's coming into your bank account? What's going out of your bank account? Do you have a 401k set up? Do you have a savings set up? Do you have any form of investments? Start there. And those questions can be yes, no answers, because we're going to build off of it. The next area, career. Do you know what you want to do? Do you have a path? Do you have something that's bringing in money for you right now? And understanding it may not be where you want to be, but you're getting closer to where you want to be. If you are currently working as a chef and you want to do something in career counseling, maybe it's time to make a change. Maybe it's time to get your foot in the door into the field or the area that you want to be in. If you got a degree in marine biology and you're working at Target, are you aligned with where you want to be? If you're at a point where you're like, I have no idea what I want to do and I'm working at Target as a way to make ends meet, awesome. But let's figure out where you want to be and actually get you closer to that and to getting there and to making the money and to building your career. One of the ways I do this with my clients is we utilize the Strong Interest Inventory Assessment. If you're not familiar with the assessment, it looks at your interests. And so we really break down, what are your interests? Not your friends, not your family, nobody around you. What are your interests? And then we break them down. Are these hobby-related interests or are these career-related interests? We're then going to look at the environment that you work in. What is your work personality? And we'll build your ideal dream career based off of those interests. So if you are in a space where you're completely undecided, you have no idea what you want to do, you have a degree, you're in a job that you're not happy with, or you're just getting into college and you're like, I don't know what to major in, that assessment can be really helpful for you. I'll leave the information on how to take that assessment along with the debrief down below in the description. The basic way of doing this, though, is looking at your interests. What are you interested in? When you were a kid, what did you want to be? When you were in high school, how did that change? What are the things that you are interested in? Don't focus on this is a very lucrative career, or this is what my family's always done, or this is what someone told me I should do. What do you want to do? What are you interested in? When you pursue a career that you're interested in, you're going to make more money, you're going to have longevity in that, and you're going to be happier. So follow your interests, follow the things that you enjoy doing, and build that into your career. We're no longer in a society that says you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse, and then that's your career for the rest of your life. You could literally be a TikTok star. You could be a coach. You could be a lawyer who travels to different wineries and handles their contracts and their legal things. There are so many ways to build your dream career. You just have to figure out what it is you want to do. Last area I kind of sensed in this letter was the fear element and the fear of the unknown. Again, that is perfectly normal. That is something that so many of us experience. I have experienced it in my own life, and it can be really scary. You have no idea what's going to happen next. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 20 minutes. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 5 years. But you can look at it one of two ways, probably one of a million ways. But you can either look at it as this is scary and I'm afraid and I'm going to live life small because I don't know what's going to happen. Or you can live full out and you can enjoy it and you can look at it as something that's exciting. And you can look at it in a way of, I have no idea what comes next. And that's really freaking cool. And so I urge you to shift your mindset. Anytime you get down that path of, I have no idea what comes next, I'm starting to get overwhelmed, I'm starting to get stressed out, I have no idea what the right decision is, instead look at it as, what could happen? What could come into my life? Who am I going to meet? What things are going to be put in my path to get me closer to where I want to be? And wake up each day saying, wonder what today holds. I wonder what exciting things are going to come my way. I wonder what cool people I'm going to meet. And looking at it from that mindset, you're going to start attracting more positivity. You're going to start attracting better things into your life, better opportunities. And I promise you, if this sounds woo-woo and you're like, Meg, that's never going to happen, just by saying that good things are going to happen to me, that's never going to happen, they will. I encourage you to have an open mind. I encourage you to give it a try. You've tried going down that negativity path. You've tried being afraid of the unknown. You've tried allowing yourself to be overwhelmed and stressed and all of those different things. Give yourself permission to be positive. Give yourself permission to say, what cool, exciting things are coming my way? Instead of fearing the unknown, embrace it and get excited. One of the other things that, again, I think is going to be a completely separate video, but it did pop up a little here in the letter, so I do want to address it, is what we call in coaching your gremlins. Your gremlin is your inner voice that is in some way saying you can't. It's saying you're not enough. It's saying you can't do this or you can't do that or you're not confident enough or fill in the blank, right? In some way, shape, or form, it's saying you can't and you're not enough. What is your inner voice telling you? In this letter, I heard the gremlin saying you can't do things on your own. You've always been told exactly what to do. You've always been given that checklist. You have to follow what everyone else says. You're not capable of doing things on your own. And if that is your inner message, we need to flip the script. We need to give that gremlin another job to do. We need to say, that's not my reality anymore. I'm taking control of my life and I am capable of doing this. And tackling your gremlin and overcoming it is a process in itself. It is not something you're going to snap your fingers and instantly do. It takes practice, it takes work. But whatever that message that your inner gremlin is telling you, I promise you it's not true. And I promise you the opposite is. If your gremlin is saying you're not capable of doing things on your own, you are. But that voice will continue to hold you back until you draw the line in the sand and change the script. So there are 5 things that I want to leave you with. 5 action items to keep you moving forward, keep you moving in the right direction, and building that momentum. So if you are in this space of overwhelmed, stressed out, afraid of the unknown, you have a million things to do and a million to-do lists, and you're like, I have no idea where to even start. I've been in your shoes. I promise you, you are not alone. And these 5 things are going to help move you forward. Number 1, be intentional with your decisions. When you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm going to put on this yellow tank top with this cover up and a black pair of pants. Why? Why did you choose that outfit? Does it make you feel confident? Does it make you feel good? Does it remind you of something? Why are you doing your hair a certain way? Why did you put on the jewelry that you did? Why are you drinking that cup of coffee? Why didn't you choose tea? Be intentional with those small things. What are those conscious decisions that you are making and why? This is going to allow you to start to kind of have that confidence behind your decisions. Know that you are capable of doing the small things. Throughout our childhood, we are told this is what's for dinner. This is where you're going to school. This is the after school activities you're going to do. But start to be intentional with the decisions that you are making as a college graduate, as someone who is adulting. We're not adulting, we're adulting. All right? So be confident in your decisions and be intentional with your decisions. And start to see the shift that starts to happen. 2, shift your mindset. That gremlin that's in the back of your ear saying you can't or you're not enough, we got to cut that noise out. We have to give our gremlin a new job. So instead of our gremlin saying you can't, your gremlin is now your competition, your challenge, your encourager, whatever it is that's going to help you move forward. How do we change our gremlin to say, instead of saying you can't, they're now saying you can and you've got this. You are enough. What's their new job? How can you get excited about the journey instead of being afraid of it? Instead of saying, I have no idea what comes next. This is so terrifying. I'm so scared. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. Start saying, I'm excited. I have no idea what comes next. But you know what? For these next 20 minutes that I am reading my book, watching a movie, going out to dinner with friends, insert blank, I'm going to be present. I'm going to enjoy my life. And I'm just going to have some fun. Life is about having fun and enjoying the journey. Yes, it includes hard work. It includes things that you don't always want to do. That's part of adulting. But enjoy where you're at right now and get excited about what's to come. That small shift is going to make a huge difference. Number 3, don't focus on right decision versus wrong decision. Focus on making a decision. I have made countless decisions in my life. I have made countless good decisions. I've made countless bad decisions. But at the time, I didn't know if they were going to be good. I didn't know if they were going to be bad. I just made a decision. And so instead of stressing yourself out and saying, is this the right decision for me right now? Is this the wrong decision? How do I know what to do? Blah, blah, blah. Just make a decision. If it ends up being something that you don't want to do or it doesn't work out, make another decision. Gary Vee says this so eloquently. And it's just, instead of focusing on right decision, wrong decision. Just make a decision. Because at the end of the day, you can always pivot, you can always make another decision, and you can always find something else. But in this moment, I don't know what the right decision is. You don't know what the right decision is. And you're never going to know until it plays out. So don't worry about making the right decision or the wrong decision. Just make a decision. Number 4, don't focus on solving the whole problem. How am I going to find a house? How am I going to find a career? How am I going to buy that car? How am I going to do? Don't worry about all of that. Focus on one thing. And the way that you're going to do this is by breaking it down. We're going to use house, for example. If you are just graduating, maybe you're living at home with your family, and you're like, I want my own place. All right, where do you want to live? What can you afford? Do you want a house? Do you want a condo? Do you want an apartment? Do you want to live by yourself? Do you want to live with friends? What goes into that? Do you need to buy furniture? What utilities do you need to get set up? Break it all down. And I do this simply by pulling out a notebook. At the top of the notebook, I'll write house. And then I write down everything I can possibly think of that goes into that. I need to figure out where I'm going to live. I need to figure out who I'm going to live with. I need to figure out what I can afford. I need to figure out how I'm going to get furniture. What furniture do I already have? Go through and break it all down. And once you've broken it all down, focus on one thing. What is one thing I can do today that's going to get me closer to where I want to be? When that one thing is done, go to the next thing. When that one thing is done, go to the next thing. And before you know it, you're going to have tackled the whole project. But you have to focus on one thing at a time. We can do anything. We can't do everything. And I promise you, this is true. I have tried multiple times. It's impossible to do everything. But you can do anything. And so focus on one thing at a time. Break it down and just do one thing. Then the next thing. Then the next. Tying in with that, number 5, become resourceful. You've graduated college. You are now in the adulting world. It is perfectly okay to ask for help. And I encourage you to try and figure it out yourself first. If you're at a point where you're like, I don't know what goes into buying a car, we have this amazing thing called technology. You can Google it. You can go on ChatGPT and say, Chat, I want to buy a car in New York. What do I need to do to buy it? Well, here are the 5 steps you need to do, 6 steps, whatever, however many steps. These are the things you need to do to buy a car. Chat, I have no idea how to buy a house. Well, here are the things that you need to do. Or ask somebody. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. I would just first encourage you to explore your resources. Explore the things you have access to. The internet, books, libraries, chat. You have so many resources available to you at your fingertips where you can find this information. Try and find it yourself first. If you are at a point where you're like, oh, I really still have no idea how to do this. I have a couple steps on what I'm going to do, but I'd really like some assistance doing it. Ask for help. That is what your parents are there for. Your friends are there for. Your family is there for. Your mentors are there for. If you don't have a mentor, get a mentor. That is what your coaches are there for. But try and be resourceful first. Those are my 5 tips. Those are my 5 takeaways for you. If you are in that space where you've just graduated college, stop for a moment and celebrate yourself. You have just accomplished something, an incredible milestone in your life. It is something that I'm sure was not easy. I'm sure you pulled an all-nighter or 2. I'm sure you struggled, you faced challenges, but guess what? You did it. And I want you to pause for a moment and celebrate yourself. And then let's tackle this adulting thing together. Please understand you are not alone. You've got this. You can do it. I am proof in the pudding. I have done it. There are countless other people who have done it, who have been in your shoes, who have faced challenges, who have faced struggles, and they've overcome them, and you can too. So those are my 5 tips. That is what I'm going to say. If you have questions, if you have comments, drop them down below. If you would like to submit your letter, I will leave the information to do so down below. As always, the letters are always anonymous, and we are here for the real talk. I'm not here to sugarcoat things for you. I'm here to support you, to encourage you, to hold you accountable, and most importantly, to celebrate you. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. And until next time, go find and live your best life.